Gananam tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspatana Shrunvannotibhissi Dasadanam Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Dear friends, we have read this 24th shloka of 9th Adhyaya in the last class. 24th shloka, we completed the Bhashyam also. That is, Aham hi sarvayajnanam bhoktacha prabhurevacha natumam abhijananti tatvena atasyavantite. So he is talking about those people who do not realize the Supreme Brahman, and then who worship this, because they cannot realize the Supreme Brahman, they worship the God in various different forms. And those people, what happens to them? It was told in the 23rd shloka, Ye pyanyate anyadevata bhaktaha shraddhayanvitaha ye yajante tepi mameva kaunteya yajanti. So that is what Lord said. That is, even though you are worshipping several forms, different forms with different systems of worship and all that, all those things, they lead to only one Supreme Being and not to different people. There are no separate gods for so many areas, for so many different countries. So this is basically the policy. This is the policy statement of the Upanishads towards worship in different forms, because the Upanishads are concerned about the ultimate reality. They are not concerned about the nature of worship of a particular deity, because the worshipping a particular deity is only for a limited purpose, isn't it? Any deity you visualize is only a sort of, in that supreme consciousness, in that all-pervading consciousness, you are visualizing a small, say, bubble of consciousness as some deva, and then you are worshipping it. So all the God forms, all the gods which we say whom we worship, all these things, they are not apart from Brahman, they are part and parcel of Brahman. They are but small pieces or small chunks of consciousness, if we can say so, in the same Supreme Brahman. Because we know that all these God forms are visualized in that Hiranyagarbha only. And Hiranyagarbha is that cosmic intellect, otherwise called Mahat, isn't it? Yes. And that cosmic intellect again is, say, manifest in Avyakta or Maya. And that Maya again is manifest, it is a power on Brahman only, isn't it? So whatever God form you imagine is only a manifestation in that consciousness. And if you say Deva, some Deva, suppose say Indra, Varuna, something like that. Indra, suppose you say. Indra, what does Indra mean? Indra Devata Vachinna Chaitanyam. Suppose you worship Varuna. Varuna Devata Vachinna Chaitanyam. So that consciousness which is delimited by say whatever visualization you have made about Indra or Varuna or Rudra or some other god, whatever name you take, say whatever religion you take, all these things, so long as you are worshipping in a mode of duality, so long as you worship, okay, you are praying for something and then the God has to give you something, God will give you some boons, etc., etc. So long as we are in this duality mode, whatever form you visualize, all these forms are say delimited only, all these forms are manifestations in that Hiranyagarbha only. So unless through this form you go to the ultimate, so that is a different level, through upasana, and then you will go to a different level. But then so long as we are in a delimited, say in a duality mode, and then so long as we worship for some personal benefit and things like that, so we are in this say limited sense only, we are doing worship. So that is the overall context here. So the last shloka which we read, that is 24th shloka, it said, Aham hi sarvayajnanam bhoktacha prabhurevacha. I am the Lord, I am the receiver of all those worships, whatever worship in whatever corner of the universe, whatever takes place, I am the receiver of all those things. And people, they do not recognize me. Though I am everywhere, they do not recognize me. So that is what we read in the last class. We have to read this 25th shloka now. 25th shloka is almost a continuation of the earlier shloka. Avatarika, is there an avatarika? Yes. No, yanti iti, that's all. There is no avatarika for this 25th shloka. Okay, there is a small line. Yepi anyadevata bhaktaha
Yepi Anyadevata Bhakta.
No, Anyadevata Bhaktimatvena
अन्यदेवता भक्तिमत्वेन
अविधिपूर्वकं यजन्ते
अविधिपूर्वकं यजन्ते
तेषामपि यागफलम् अवश्यं भावी कथम. Okay, this avatarika says, those who worship the other gods, though they worship in a different form, they may not be worshipping in a prescribed form or a prescribed system. They may be worshipping in a totally different system. But even then, they have to get some result. What type of result do they get? So that is the meaning here. Yepi anya devata bhakti matvena, those who have say bhakti or a devotion for some other deity, and then avidhi purvakam yajante, that is they do worship in a totally different system. Avidhi, vidhi means something which is prescribed, avidhi means something which is not different from prescribed. So they worship in a different form. Teshamapi yagaphalam avashyam bhavi, when you are doing some sort of worship, naturally you have to get some result. What is that result and how do they get? So that is what is being described in this shloka. Let us read the shloka. Yanti devavrata devan pitrun yanti pitruvrataha bhutani yanti bhutejya yanti madhyajinopi mam. So he is talking about different people worshipping different deities, and ultimately in the last pada he talks about those people who worship me. Yanti madhyajina, about me. Me means not Lord Krishna or Lord anything like that, but the worshipping the supreme deity, that is one Ishvara, one Brahman, who is the Lord of this universe. So that is the meaning here. So yanti devavrataha devan. So he is talking about three types of people, and these three types, naturally it is fitting with the three gunas. The people are endowed with three gunas. Somebody with a sattvika predominance, somebody with rajas predominance, somebody with tamas predominance. So here the first mention is about devavrataha. Devavrataha means those who worship the devas. Devas, that is the divine beings. So that is the meaning. In fact, the same thing we are about to get we are about to see in the 17th chapter of the Gita. The 17th chapter of the Gita is called Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. Shraddha Traya. Traya means the triple fold, the threefold. The threefold Shraddha. Shraddha means devotion or attention. The threefold devotion. That is, what is this threefold devotion? Somebody is having a Sattvika Shraddha, somebody is having a Rajasa Shraddha, somebody is having a Tamasa Shraddha. So the Sattvika Shraddha is basically characterized by, basically he is a highly self-disciplined person. He wants the welfare of the whole world. Sarve janas sukhino bhavantu. So that type of thing. Let lokas samastas sukhino bhavantu. So all these things. This is the thing which is a nishkama prayer we do every day. Then that is what is prescribed. So the person who is in this particular type of discipline is a Sattvika. Then Rajasa. Rajasa means he wants something for self-aggrandizement. Rajasa, the self-aggrandizement means that is strengthening oneself. So he wants some benefit. He wants to conquer his enemy or something like that. So this is the Rajasa Bhakta. Tamasaha, they want to do harm to others. They want to do harm, and then they want to overpower, and they want to kill. All these negative things. For all these negative things, they use their bhakti. They use their pujas also for the same reason. So they invoke some type of pishacha, some type of bhuta, and then they would like to kill somebody. So all these types of abhicharika prayogas we talk of, they are all mentioned in some old texts which are characterized as Vamachara. Vamachara means that is there are two systems. One is called Dakshinachara and one is Vamachara. What we do normally in our houses, not normally, always in our houses, is Dakshinachara puja. Dakshinachara means we don't slaughter animals and then offer to the deity, and then we do some sort of some Sattvika type of worship, and then we pray for the whole world. We pray for the welfare of the humanity. So that type of thing is Sattvika. And then this Vamachara is different. Vamachara is, that is, you sit on some 5 skulls. That is called Panchakapalasanam. Panchakapala, for some 5 skulls. And then you also wear some garland of skulls. And then some blood, human blood also is procured. and then all these, some such silly accessories will be there. All these systems were denounced by Shankaracharya, because we know that during Shankaracharya's time, all such systems they prevailed in India, and then he was a great social reformer who denounced all those systems and brought about 6 major systems into the mainstream and called them the 6 acceptable systems. So that is why he is called Shanmata Sthapakacharya, somebody who established the 6 systems. So not that he newly invented all these, whatever was already prevalent, he did not want to wipe them away, so he brought them all under the fold of the under the umbrella of the Upanishads. So that is what we have seen. So here we are talking about those Deva Vrataha, somebody who worships Ganesha, somebody who worships Vishnu, Shiva, etc., all these acceptable systems. So they are the Deva Vrataha, those who are in the confines of the Upanishads. Then they attain Devas. Then Pitrun Yanti Pitru Vrataha, Pitru Devatas. So maybe nowadays, now of course we don't worship Pitru Devatas so much. We only do some annual say ceremonies and things like that. Maybe in those days there was greater attention for that Pitru Devatas. Much more greater attention was there. We do not know. So the Pitru Devatas are supposed to stay. Say they are supposed to be there in that Soma, say Chandraloka. So these people they attain that Pitru Loka. So that is this Pitrun Yanti Pitru Vrataha. So those who worship the ancestors, they reach that particular loka. They will be in that state of say existential state. Then Bhutani Yanti Bhutejyaha. Some people they worship these Bhutas, Bhuta, Preta, Pishacha and all these things, all these demonic say characters. They visualize certain things, and then all those Bhutas they do worship say such Bhutaha. So Bhutani, that is Napumsakalinga. Bhutani Yanti Bhutejyaha. Bhutejya is those who worship the Bhutas, they attain the Bhutani, that is the such Bhuta, Pishacha, etc. Then Yanti Madhyajinaha. Madhyajinaha means those who worship me, those who say think about me, those who do say their prayers about me. So they attain me. Madhyajinaha yanti mam. They do attain me. They do come to me. So that is the shloka. The shloka is simple. Deva Vrataha Devan yanti. Pitru Vrataha Pitrun yanti. Then Bhutejyaha Bhutani yanti. Madhyajinaha mam yanti. So that is it. All these people, the 4 types of people have been described. 3 people characterized by 3 gunas. And the other thing, they are Satvika, of course, Satvika predominance, but then they are also that their worship is also associated with the knowledge, with the awareness that there is some Supreme Brahman. So this 4th category is different. They are also having Satvika guna, but then they are also having awareness of the Supreme Brahman. So that is it. Let us read this thing. Yanti Gachanti Devavrataha Deveshu Vratam Niyamo Bhaktischa Yesham Te Devavrataha Devan Yanti. So every word is explained here. Yanti means Gachanti, they attain. Devavrataha Deveshu Vratam Niyamaha. Vratam is Vratam is Varta Dhatu only. Vartate Anaya iti Vratam. Vritti also, mental vritti we talk about, Chitta vritti. That also comes from the same root, Vartate. Vritti. The same thing, same root, from the same root, this word also comes Vratam. So that is, you are having a particular god form, say you are worshipping about the nature of a particular god form. Suppose you do Satyanarayana Vratam. So Satyanarayana, you are visualizing that in a particular form. You are visualizing him as nothing different from the Supreme Brahman. You do almost all important pratams are like that. All important pratams which we do normally, Satyanarayana Vratam is one, then again Ananta Padmanabha Vratam, there is another thing. Ananta Padmanabha. What does it mean? Ananta means Satyam Jnanam Anantam, that infinitude. Then Padmanabha. That Padmanabha we are directly referring to that Vishnu, who is again Vyapnoti Vyapanashilaha. So we are visualizing such things, and then we are trying to understand, and then we are trying to dwell on the nature of that particular deity and attain that deity. So all these things are supposed to be sattvika vratas. So they do attain those deities. Then niyamaha bhaktisya yeshante devartaha. Then pitrun
पितॄन्
agnishvattadin
अग्निष्वात्तादीन्
yanti pitruvrataha
यान्ति पितृव्रताः
श्राद्धादि क्रियापराः पितृभक्ताः.
श्राद्धादिक्रियापराः पितृभक्ताः
Pitrubhaktaha, these Pitrubhaktaha means those who worship these ancestors. Shraddhadi Kriya Paraha, what are all these activities there? Shraddha. Shraddha means Shraddhaya Kriyate iti Shraddham. That which is done with a great attention, devotion, etc. is Shraddham, isn't it? So they do attain these Pitru Devatas, Agnishvattadin. So this Agnishvattadin, I could not find the meaning anywhere because no commentator has written about this Agnishvattadin. Probably it was too clear, or it may be something somewhere in the Vedas. I could not find the meaning. So tentatively we will take it as Agnishvattadin, because I saw 4 or 5 texts and also checked up with a couple of people. This Agnishvattadin meaning I could not find out. Maybe if I get next time I will tell you. Agnishvattadin means Agnishvatta and others. Agnishvatta and such, let us say. Agnishvatta and such are attained by people who worship the ancestors. Then Bhutani
भूतादि
Vinayaka Matrugana Chaturbhaginyadini
विनायक मातृगण चतुर्भगिन्यादीनि
Yanti Bhutejyaha
यान्ति भूतेज्याः
Bhutanam Pujakaha.
भूतानां पूजकाः.
So there are certain demigods. Demigods, they are neither say treated on par with the main gods like Vishnu, Brahma, etc., Shiva, etc. But then there are some group gods who are called Gana Devatas. Gana means group, isn't it? Gana means a team of teams of gods, teams of demigods, let us say. So these are certain demigods who are worshipped by for petty results. So all small results. So what are these ganas? Vinayaka, we are not referring to that Ganesha. It does not refer to Ganesha. It is referring to some Vinayaka Gana. Then Matrugana, there are Sapta Matrukas, we know. Sapta Matruka, if you have read Amarakosam, what is this? Say Chamunda, Sapta Matruka, some 6 say names are mentioned there. So I just don't recall that name. So this Sapta Matruka, 7 names are there of this 7 mothers. Then Chaturbhaginyadini, 4 sisters, Chaturbhaginyadini, so some 4 sisters, that is one group. In Amarakosha there is one line in the beginning itself about the Ganadevataha. Aditya Vishwavasavas Tushita Bhaswaranilaha Maharajika Sadhyasya Rudrasya Ganadevataha. Aditya, we know. Aditya, we talk about 11 Adityaha. Ekadasya Rudrulu. We are not referring to that supreme Rudra, that Shiva. We are referring to some demigod type of people who are also called Rudras. Ekadasya Rudrulu. Dvadasha Aditya we talk of. Dvadasha Aditya means the 12 people or 12 demigods who are collectively called the 12 Adityas. So that Aditya group is one. Dvadasha, Ekadasha Rudras. So like that all these things are groups. Vinayaka group is one, Vinayaka Ganam. This Matru Ganam is one. Chaturbhaginyadini, that is another Ganam. Maharajika Sadhyasya Rudrasya Gana Devataha. They are called Gana Devataha. They are called group gods, let us say. There must be some small demigods who were worshipped by who are worshipped by some ordinary people for some small petty results. Bhutejyaha Bhutanam Pujakaha. So this Vinayaka should not be mistaken for Ganesha. Then Bhutejyaha Bhutanam Pujakaha. Then Yanti Madhyajinaha.
यान्ति मद्याजिनः
Madhyajanashilaha Vaishnavaha Mameva Yanti.
वैष्णवाः मामेव यान्ति.
So Madhyajinaha, those who worship me, that is those who are aware of that supreme being. So those people, they do attain me. Who are these people? Vaishnavaha. We should not again confuse with the present day Vaishnavaha. Because when Shankaracharya wrote this Vaishnava, the present day Vaishnavas were not there. Present day Vaishnavas, they came into existence only after Ramanuja, isn't it? So Vaishnava, he is writing in the sense, those who worship that Vishnu, Vyapana Silaha, that all pervading supreme form, which we call Brahman. So they are called the Vaishnavaha. Mameva yanti, they do attain me. Then Samanepi ayase, Mameva na bhajante, Ajnanat tena, Ajnanat, tena te, Alpa phala bhajo bhavanti ityarthaha. So in this worship, whether you worship a small deity or Supreme Brahman, the effort is same. Samanepi ayase. Ayasa means effort. Samanepi ayase. Ayase samane sati. So that is it. Though this effort is same whether you worship a demigod or the Supreme Brahman, but out of ignorance, because of ignorance, they want some immediate result. So these are the people who say a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So these are the people who say, okay, it is good if I just have this benefit. So for petty results, they worship these demigods. That is what is said. Samane pyayase mameva na bhajante ajnanat. Because of ignorance, they do not worship me, they do not know me. Then tena, because of that, te alpa phala bhajaha bhavanti. Alpa phala bhajaha means they do just attain some small petty result. Alpa phala bhak. Alpa phala bhak is the word. Bhajaha is the plural. Alpa phala bhajaha bhavanti. They do become people who attain some petty result. So that is it. Then nakevalam madbhaktanam anavrutti lakshanam anantaphalam sukharadhanascha aham. So the next shloka Avatarika says, it is not as though my say devotees, they get this ananta phalam. Ananta phalam means that great result, infinite result. What is that infinite result? Anavrutti lakshanam ananta phalam. Anavrutti lakshanam. That is that there is no question of return. Avrutti, abrahma bhuvanal lokaha punaravartino Arjuna. That's what we saw. So all other things, they are all punaravarti in nature. But only when you know Supreme Brahman, or only when you do that Hiranyagarbha Upasana and reach that Brahmaloka, only then you will be able to attain Supreme Brahman, isn't it? So that we have read in the earlier say chapters. So Anavrutti Lakshanam Anantaphalam. That Anantaphalam, that great say the greater result called Anantaphalam in the form of Anavrutti is there. Not only that, Sukharadhanascha aham. I can also be worshipped in a very, very easy manner. It is not as though my worship is so difficult. So that is what is it. That is, nakevalam madbhaktanam anavrutti lakshanam anantaphalam. It is not only that say they do get a great result, but I can also be worshipped in a easy manner. So greater result with easy form of worship. So that is what he says. So basically to this is basically the policy. A policy in the sense, a philosophy of bhakti, let us say. This is the basic philosophy of bhakti, that if you have bhakti that is good enough, it is not as though bhakti should be very ostentatious. You need not spend a great money and great amount of money and then do all this yajna, etc. Of course, they are not condemned. They will be there because there are different categories of people, different types of people. People have different, say, inclinations. So, you can't have uniformity among people. So, but regarding Supreme Deity, this is the philosophy of Bhakti. What is that? Let us read the shloka. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhaktyupahrutam ashnami prayatatmanaha. So this is the policy. What is that? Patram. Patram is a leaf. Pushpam, a flower. Phalam, a small fruit. The toyam, if nothing is there, you just offer some water. Then yo me bhaktya prayachati. Yaha me, to me, bhaktya prayachati, gives or offers with devotion. With devotion, bhaktya prayachati, with devotion, whoever gives. Tat aham, that whatever is given. Tat means that. That means whatever is given. Aham, I, bhakti upahrutam. Bhakti upahrutam means bhaktya upahrutam. Upahara means Upahara. Upahara is a present. Haru dhatu. Hrui harane, that is to give or take. Upahara means to give something to somebody. Upasamipe, you present something to somebody, that is called upahara. Upahrutam means that which is given as a present, that which is offered. So you offer a patram, you offer a pushpam, you offer a flower, you offer some water with bhakti. Bhakti upahrutam means bhaktya upahrutam. With devotion, it is offered. So that is the meaning. Bhakti upahrutam. Then ashnami. Ashnami means I do eat. Ashnami. The prayatatmanaha. Prayata, what is this prayatatmanaha? We have seen this yatatma. We know the word yatatma. Yata means from the word yama. Yama is self-restraint. Self-restraint, self-discipline, all that is yama. Yata means one who has it is yata. Yata chittatma, yatatma, samyatatma, niyatatma. We have seen all those words earlier. Niyatatma, sanyatatma, yatatma, etc. This is pra is another upasarga. Pra is an upasarga, sam is an upasarga, ni is an upasarga. All these things are upasargas only. That is a small prefixes. Prayatatma, that is one who has say Shuddha Antahkarana, one who has that purity of heart. A person who is having purity of heart is called Prayatatma, because he has practiced that yama. Yama means not only not in the Patanjali sense of one Bhakhyendriya Nigraho Yamaha, not only that, but this is yama. We are now talking about what we have seen in this dhyana yoga. So that self-discipline over a period of time with this yoga, abhyasa, etc., one who has attained all that, such a person, even if he gives patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, etc., that is, even if he gives that, I take it, I accept it. So that means one should be a person of pure antahkarana. So a rogue or somebody, a criminal should not go and then suddenly give one flower and then say, I am now purified. So it's not like that. Somebody should have some pure antahkarana, shuddha antahkarana. Prayatatmanaha is the say Panchami Vibhakti. Prayatatmanaha, from that person or of that person, I do accept whether it is a leaf or a flower or a fruit or whatever it is. So tadaham bhaktyupahrutam ashnami prayatatmanaha. So that is, what does it mean? It means that there is nothing, anything which is called lowly. Lowly means there is nothing which is mean in the nature itself. There is nothing very lowly or insignificant or say useless thing in nature. It is we who are giving some value attachment to that. We are doing some value attribution to that. So we are taking some small stone and calling it a diamond, and then we are giving it a great value, say not value addition, that attribution. We are doing that value attribution, isn't it? The same another stone, we are calling it an ordinary stone or a glass piece. So value attribution is done by the human being. It is not there in the divine nature. So that is the meaning. So then, this is we should also see that all these things, they do not contemplate any ostentation. Ostentation is lavishness. There is no need to give some crown with all diamond-studded crown to Lord Venkateshwara. It is enough if you have some bhakti. So that is the meaning here. So let us see the Bhashyam. Patram pushpam phalam toyam udakam yo me mahyam bhaktya prayachati tadaham patradi bhaktya upahrutam bhakti purvakam prapitam. Where is it? Bhaktyupahrutam ashnami grunhami prayatatmanaha shuddha buddhehe. So in one line he has completed. So all these things, whether it is toyam, mudakam, yo me mahyam. Mahyam means to me. Bhaktya prayachati tadaham patradi bhaktya upahrutam. That which is submitted to me through bhakti. Bhakti upahrutam ashnami grunhami. For this word ashnami, Madhusudana Saraswati gives a very beautiful say reference from Chandogya Upanishad. Do the gods really eat whatever you give? So that is another thing. Do the gods really eat, and what type of eating do they have? So that is the question. Because our children also ask, you are putting some naivedyam, is the god really eating? Why can't you get a pizza and then offer naivedyam? So all these things, say if you go to America, the kids also ask, they will say, why can't you get a pizza and then offer? Why don't you offer for some, order for some cake and then offer? So these are the questions, isn't it? So there is a question, there is a line from Chandogya Upanishad which Madhusudana Saraswati quotes. That is, the gods, they do not eat, they only see your bhakti. If it is presented with bhakti, then they know it, they sense it, and then that itself is eating. Drushtya eva, drushtya trupyanti. That is, drushtya, by just seeing. Drushir prekshane, that is the meaning. Drushir prekshane not only applies to physical seeing, it applies to knowing your mind also, knowing your shraddha, know whether you are really having shraddha or not. So this is a line from the third adhyaya, 6th Khanda, 3-6-1, you may note down, 3-6-1, so Chandogya Upanishad, the line is, Nahavai Deva Ashnanti, Nahavai Deva Ashnanti. So it says, Devaha na Ashnanti. It is not as though you offer some mutton and then you slaughter some big animal and then offer some mutton and then the gods are not going to eat it, only you are going to eat it. But then ultimately they see your bhakti, what sort of attention. We have got so many stories in our own folklore also in this. For example, Bhakta Kannappa is there, that Kannappa. So he offers some mutton every day because he very sincerely, he may say, he is basically a hunter who is there in the jungle. He doesn't know any of these rituals, he doesn't know any of these procedures. And then there is a Shivalinga in some corner. And then he puts some leaves on that and then he just offers some mutton every day. So that is accepted. Because their bhakti is the, say the legal tender, if we can call so. Bhakti is the legal tender and not anything else. And this Madhusudana also quotes the story of Sudama. Sudama, we know the story of Kuchela, we call Kuchela. In Bhagavata, the name is Sudama. Sri Sudama Brahmananita Tandulakana Bhatshanavat, Tandulakana Bhatshana. That is, he gets some sort of Tandulakana, some beaten rice, we say. That beaten rice, or what we call Atukulu. So that beaten rice, that is accepted by Lord Krishna in a very, very happy fashion. So like that, there are any number of examples like this, where a devotee, a very, very simple devotee, he offers a small thing and then that is really accepted by the Lord. So which means that the gods do not eat as such physically. So that is this line we have to remember. They don't eat, they see your bhakti, whether it is offered with bhakti or not. If you have offered a pizza also with bhakti, they will take. But if you just say, if you are only trying to show your ostentation, some $20 pizza or $50 pizza or something like that, then that is not a question of bhakti which is involved. They see, that is, the bhakti is very important in that, in this whole transaction. So then Prayatatmanaha, that is Shuddha Antahkarana. For that Prayata Antahkarana also, okay, Prayata Antahkarana, there is nothing else. So here Madhusudana also writes, Devatantaravat bal upaharadi bahuvitta ayasa sadhyam nakinchidapi, nakinchid. That is, we have also got some other systems where we offer bali. Bali upaharadi, where is it? Bali upaharadi bahuvitta vyaya ayasa sadhyam. So you have to spend a lot of money in a yajna, you have to offer some bali, you have to do something, various other, all these sambharas you have to procure. So all these things are not required. So that is what it is. That means we are not condemning all those things. They will all be there because the world is having so much of variety. So but then a real seeker, he has to keep this in mind, that the basic philosophy of bhakti talks, devotion talks only about your mind, your Shuddha Antahkarana. If your Antahkarana is pure, you can give anything. You offer a pizza, you offer a cake, whatever it is. So there, whether you have done some effort, if you do some physical shrama and prepare a pizza, if you do some physical shrama and then prepare some cake and then give, then that is, there is a question of devotion. There is a question of personal sharira, the body, involvement of the body also, isn't it? So it's like that. Then next thing, Yata evam ataha. Yata evam ataha means because of this. Let us read this shloka. Yat karoshi yadashnasi.
Yat karoshi yadasnasi.
Yat juhoshi dadasi yat.
Yat juhoshi danasi yat.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
Yat tapasyasi kaunteya.
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
Tat kurushva madarpanam.
So here we are again going back to what we have seen in this third chapter, that karma yoga. Yat karoshi, whatever you do, yat karoshi. Then yat ashnasi, whatever you eat, ashnasi. Then yat juhoshi, whatever yajna, whatever offering you make, that is juhoshi, juhoti, that is offering you make. Then dadasi yat, whatever say money you give by way of danam. Danam is given on different occasions to different people, and even without occasion you give some danam. So all that comes under dadasi, yat dadasi. Then yat tapasyasi, different types of austerities you undertake. Tapasyasi, you can also take two meanings here. Tapa is, we know this tapasa brahma vijñāsasva. You know about the Supreme Brahman through tapas. That is by thinking. Thinking at that place, in that context, it talks about nididhyasana. So yat tapasyasi. Of course, we need not take that meaning because we are talking about karma yoga level. So here yat tapasyasi, tapa refers to this kruchra, chandrayana, vratams, etc. Because people, in our scriptures, various types of tapas are prescribed. Suppose knowingly or unknowingly we might have committed some mistakes, we might have committed some lapses, some errors, etc. For all those things, you do some upavasa in a particular time. Or somebody does, some more strict people, they have this Chandrayana Vratam. Chandrayana Vratam we have come across earlier also. Chandrayana, following that lunar, month, lunar calendar. So start with one small morsel of food, or start with 15 morsels of food, and then gradually reduce and take it to one morsel on the new moon day, and then again start with one morsel and come to 15 morsels. So something like that. So that is one type of Chandrayana. Another type of Chandrayana is starting with one morsel and going up to 15 morsels, and then again coming back to one morsel. So that is another type of Chandrayana. So these are all methods which are prescribed for self-purification. Knowingly or unknowingly, you might have committed certain things. So that is what say there is a Madhusudana Saraswati also mentions. Pratisamvatsaram ajñāta pramadika papanivruttaye chandrayanadi charasi, chandrayana vratam, etc. Chandrayana is that lunar cycle. So like this, there are various types of austerities which are there in our books. So then Kaunteya, hey Kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam. Madarpanam means you offer to me. Madarpanam kurushva. Then this kurushva means you do. Kurushva means you do. There is one special point which is noted by Madhusudana Saraswati here. It's a beautiful point which is noted by him. Kurushva is what is called Atmanepadi. In your Sanskrit class, have you come across Parasmaipadi or Atmanepadi? Not yet. Okay. Parasmai and Atmane, not every dhatu, there are some dhatus which are used in two senses. That is, Pachati dhatu. Suppose I say Pachati. Pachati means cooks. Saha Pachati, he cooks. Sa Pachate. There is the Pachate means he cooks. That also means he cooks. So in this Pachati form, the meaning is he is doing it for others. Parasmai. The meaning is Parasmai Padi, Atmanepadi. Parasmai means for somebody else. You know the word para. Para means somebody else. Parasmai means for somebody else. Atmane means for yourself. For yourself, isn't it? So Parasmai Padi dhatu, the kriya, the result of that kriya goes to somebody else. Atmanepadi, the result of the kriya comes to me only. So you followed? So when I say Pachati, he is a cook who is cooking for others. Then Pachate, he is cooking for himself. That is the meaning. Pachati, Pachate. Similarly, Karoti. Karoti means he is doing for somebody else. Kurute, he does it for himself. So here this Kurushva is Atmanepadi, Kurushva, Atmanepadi, that Vidhiling. Kurushva, you do. That is, there you are doing, but then doing it for yourself. That is, the meaning here is, whatever offering you do, the karma phala is coming to you only. Karma phala is not going to the deity. This offering, that punyam by that offering, etc., it is coming to you only. So that is the meaning. Parasmay, that is samarpaka nishthameva samarpana phalam, he writes. Samarpaka nishtham, that is the samarpaka, whoever is the offerer. The offerer is actually getting the fruit of that offering. So that is the meaning. So it is not as though the Lord is taking away all this punyam or all these offerings. The offering, whatever punyam you are getting, whatever result you are getting because of that, it is coming to you only. So that is the meaning of that kurushva. So sometimes these small words are very beautifully explained by these commentators, particularly Madhusudana Saraswati, or in Telugu there is another writer we have seen, this Bellamkonda Ramarai Kavi. They explain all these things.
Yes, sir. Kurushva means it's for...
Kurushva you do, that is for oneself, Atmanepadi. Kurushva is not Parasmaipadi, Kurushva is Atmane. Atmane means for oneself. Pachati dhatu, you remember?
Yeah.
Pachati, pachate. Pachati cooks for others. Pachate cooks for himself. Karoti does for somebody else. Kurute does for himself. So like that. Karishye, Atmanepadi, isn't it? Gayatri Upasanam Karishye. Karishye for myself. Oh, I am not. So that is it. Every day, Gayatri Upase, Prata Sandhyam Upase, Atmanepadi. Upasishye, Atmanepadi. We are using all Atmanepadi words in our pujas. That is for my own sake I am doing, isn't it? So that is it. Then, one second. I am just seeing whether some more point is there. Okay, we will see the Bhashyam. Yat karoshi swatah praptam yadashnasi. Yat karoshi swatah praptam yadashnasi. Yaccha juhoshi havanam nirvartayasi shrautam va smartam va yat dadasi prayachasi brahmanadibhyo hiranya annajyadi tat yat tapasyasi tapascharasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam mat samarpanam. Okay, then let us see this. Yat karoshi, whatever you do. Then yad ashnasi, he is qualifying by saying swatah praptam yad ashnasi. That is, swatah praptam means that which has come on its own, without you are making great effort and all that, without making effort, without begging somebody, without asking somebody, whatever has come in your way. So that is the meaning. Swatah praptam, it has come on its own. That is it. Without your effort, without asking, without your making great effort for that. Then yatcha juhoshi havanam nirvartayasi. Juhoshi, the meaning is havanam. Havanam is offering things, various oblations into the fire. Havanam nirvartayasi. And there can be two types, that is shrautam va, smartam va, whether it is a shrauta karma or a smarta karma. We have discussed what are these things. Then yat dadasi, whatever you give to others. Others means brahmanadibhyaha, hiranya, anna, ajyadi. Hiranyam, gold, anna, food, ajyam means ghee. So in olden days, that ghee, ajyam also used to be given. Brahmana comes, you give some 2 kilos of ghee or 10 kilos of ghee. So something like that. Hiranya danam is there, ajya danam is there, anna danam is there. So all these things were given to various types of people. Then yat tapasyasi, we read it. Yeah. Whatever tapascharasi, whatever tapas I explained to you, that Chandrayana Vratam, etc. He kaunteya, tat kurushva madarpanam, mat samarpanam. For this samarpana also, one small explanation is given here. One small point is noted here. What is it? That is, suppose you are offering, this shloka what is told, whatever you do it for me or in my name. That is what we saw in Gita, what is 3rd chapter also, Karma Yoga, and also 2nd chapter also. Karma Yoga, what is Karma Yoga? The essence of Karma Yoga is you do your duty as an order from the Lord, as an offering to the samashti. You have taken something from the samashti and then you have to say do your duty to the samashti. So with this idea, samashti means the will of the Lord, in other words the will of the Lord. And then you are dedicating what all you do to the Lord. So that is going to purify, that is going to give you chitta shuddhi. That is what we learned. So how is this karma yoga giving chitta shuddhi? So if you see that, one interesting thing is, suppose you tell your son, so okay, you tell me what all you did in the school. So okay, he will come and tell you, okay, what all good deeds he has done in the school, he will tell. I got some very good marks here, my teacher complimented me and all that, and then but he will not tell about the mischief he has done in the school. Suppose we do this practice. Suppose I want to practice this. This is yat karoshi dashnasi, all this is told to us only, not only to Arjuna but to all of us. Suppose we do this practice. Suppose we practice, what happens? Suppose I do some good work. Suppose today I get up and then do some Bhagavad Gita, one chapter, I do some Parayana. Then very proudly I feel happy, I have done some great thing, and then okay, this is dedicated to Lord. Suppose I do some other mischievous deed. Suppose I go to some club and or I spend my money for some other vice or something like that. I will be ashamed to do that offering to Lord, isn't it? I will be ashamed. I will be proud to offer some good thing only, but I will be ashamed to offer some bad thing. Suppose you make it a practice, you make it a vratam. Whatever I do, yadyat karma karomi tattadakhilam shambho tavaradhanam. There is one famous line from Shankaracharya, isn't it? Whatever I do, even the walking, eating, whatever I talk, all my actions, yadyat karma karomi tattadakhilam shambho tavaradhanam. So there is a wonderful line. So like that, suppose you try to count every action you do during the day. Every action, suppose you try to see, then you will yourself be ashamed of certain actions. It happens to all of us. We feel ashamed later. A minute later, you feel ashamed. Why did I do this? So like that, if we practice for some time, this samarpana, this is offering to the Lord. That means there is a divine thing which is watching me. That feeling is always there in the mind. So you are offering everything, you are whatever action you do, whatever interaction, you are offering to the Lord as an order from the Lord. When you go to the pub and then have a couple of drinks and then spend some money on some vice, it is not an order from the Lord. So those things you will be naturally ashamed to report, and then naturally those things will come down. So that way, over a period of time, that chitta shuddhi comes. So that is the link between karma yoga and chitta shuddhi. So that is the point we have to note here. Then evam kurvataha tava yad bhavati tat shrunu. Okay, what happens? Evam kurvataha. But as you do this, evam kurvataha tava. When you are doing like this, yat bhavati, what happens? Tat shrunu. You listen what happens. Let us read. Shubha shubha phalairevam mokshyase karma bandhanaihi sannyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mam upaishyasi. Okay, here shubha shubha phalaihi evam. This is again what we have seen in this karma yoga chapter. Shubha ashubha phalaihi. Shubha phalam and ashubha phalam, that is something which is beneficial to you and something which is harmful to you, whatever it is. Phalaihi evam, in this manner, mokshyase karma bandhanaihi. Shubha shubha phalaihi karma bandhanaihi. Every activity is going to lead you to some bandhana, because every activity is going to get you some either a good result or bad result, isn't it? Good result is what is in the shape of punya, bad thing is in the shape of papa, or the demerit as we call it. So this thing is a baggage, and this baggage is going to give result at some point of time. So it is a bondage. It is there in your bank account, and it is definitely either a debit or credit. It is there. Then from these things you get mokshyase, you get released from these bonds. Then sannyasa yoga yuktatma. Sannyasa yoga yuktatma. This word we have to see. Sannyasa does not mean that ultimate sannyasa, but we are only karma phala sannyasa. We are not talking about this karma sannyasa. We are talking about the karma phala tyaga. Karma phala tyaga is that karma yoga. You are doing a karma as an offering to the Lord, as an offering to the samasti, as a duty for, say, what is this, loka sangraha, for the harmony of society. So with that thing, that is the sannyasa. And sannyasa eva yoga. Sannyasa eva yoga. Why is it sannyasa? Sannyasa is yoga because it is leading to chitta shuddhi. So that is what is yoga. Sannyasa is leading to that chitta shuddhi, because that is the meaning Shankaracharya is going to give also. Sannyasa yoga yuktatma, one who is having that sort of antahkarana. Atma means antahkarana here. Yukta atma. One, the antahkarana or the mind which is purified by this type of attitude, karma yoga. Then vimuktaha, vimukta san, vimuktaha means one who is mokshase. Then mam upaishyasi, you will attain me. Upa plus eshyasi, upaishyasi. Upa means samipe, near. Eshyasi means you will come. You will come near. You will attain me. So that is the meaning. Is the shloka clear?
Yes.
Okay, then see the bhashyam. Shubha shubha phalaihi iti.
Shubha phalaihi iti.
Shubha shubha phalaihi evam.
Shubha phalaihi evam.
Shubha shubhe ishtanishte. Ishtanishte.
Shubha shubhe ishtanishte.
Phale yesham tani.
Phale yesham tani.
Shubha shubha phalani karmani.
Shubha shubha phalani karmani.
So Shubha Shubha Phalam, Phala means Shubha Shubha Phalai. Phalam by Phalam we are referring to the karma. The karmas which are going to give that type of result. Whether it is a Shubha Phalam or Ashubha Phalam. So those phalams. Then karmani. Taihi Shubha Shubha Phalaihi. Karma bandhanaihi.
Karma bandhanaihi.
Karmanyeva bandhanani taihi.
Karmanyeva bandhanani taihi.
Karma bandhanaihi.
Karma bandhanaihi.
Evam mat samarpanam.
Evam mat samarpanam.
Kurvan mokshyase.
Kurvan mokshyase.
So mat samarpanam kurvan mokshyase. You will be liberated or you will be freed from all those karma bandhanaihi. Bandhana means bondage. From all these bondages of karma you will be liberated. All this in great detail we discussed in Karma Yoga chapter. Because Karma Yoga basically what for? Yoga karmasu kaushalam. What is that kaushalam? Tadhi kaushalam. There is a beautiful line there. Kaushalam means that skill in action. What is that skill in action? That is, you are doing a thing, but you are not getting the result of that. So that is the kaushalam. That is the great skill. You are doing something, but you are not affected by the result. Getting the result means, we are not talking about the mundane results. You go to office and then do some work and then you will definitely get a paycheck. We are not referring to the mundane results, but where we are referring to the works which are our interaction with other people. In our interaction, whether we are doing a good thing or a bad thing to them. So those karmas, and also the shastriya karmas. We are referring to certain shastriya karmas like some yajna, yaga, some other tapas, etc., etc. And also other socially interactive karmas. Not regular office work, and then we are not referring to that paycheck, because many people here, karma yoga means the first question they ask is, I go to my office and do some work, should I not get the paycheck? We are not referring to that level. And that is a different thing. That is called bhruti. That is a different thing. We are talking about whether you are doing some good to a person or bad to a person. Suppose you are in a business, whether you are cheating or whether doing honest business. In Mahabharata, you have the character of Dharma Vyadha. Dharma Vyadha is the person who was a butcher, who was selling meat. And then a great Brahmin was sent, a highly learned Brahmin was sent to that man to learn Dharma. So that is that chap, he was following Dharma 100%, and then this Brahmin, he was not following in the sense he had very vainglorious understanding of Dharma. He was thinking that he was the only embodiment of Dharma, but then he was not duty minded, or rather he was not humble. He was not having that humility in performing that Dharma. So that is why he had to go to a butcher. So like that, in all these things, that attitude is also very important. Then Shubha Shubha Palai Karmani Karma Bandhanaihi Muchyate Kurvan Mokshyase. Soyam Sannyasa Yoga. Soyam Sannyasa Yogo Nama.
Soyam Sannyasa Yogo Nama.
Sannyasascha Asau Mat Samarpanataya. This is called sannyasa by virtue of the fact that you are offering that to me. Mat samarpanataya, that is by virtue of the fact that it is being offered to me. Mat samarpanataya. Sannyasascha asau. Sannyasascha. This what you are doing, your action is called sannyasa. Mat samarpanataya, by virtue of offering to me. Then karmatvad yogascha asau.
Karmatvat yogascha asau.
So because it is a karma yoga, it is called yoga. It is karmatvat because it is a karma. It is called yoga. It is called karma. In other words, karma yoga. Karma yogascha asau. Asau means this. This means it is referring to action. You are referring to the action here, not to a person. Karma sannyaso nama. Sannyasa yogo nama. Sannyasascha asau yogascha. Sannyasa yoga is sannyasascha asau yogascha. It is also sannyasa, it is yoga. Sannyasa means what? Karma phala sannyasa. Yoga, because it is a karma, it is leading to chitta shuddhi, etc. It is called yoga. You are getting united or yoked with some good result, isn't it? So that is what is called chitta shuddhi. Asaviti tena sannyasa yogena yuktaha. Tena sannyasa yogena. Did we read it?
Karmatvat yogascha asau.
Asaviti.
Karmatvat
yogascha asaviti. Tena sannyasa yogena.
Tena sannyasa yogena.
Yuktaha atma antahkaranam yasya tava.
Yuktaha atma antahkaranam yasya tava.
Sattvam.
Sattvam.
Sannyasa yoga yuktatma san.
Sannyasa yoga yuktatma san.
Vimuktaha karma bandhanaihi.
Vimuktaha karma bandhanaihi.
Jivanneva.
Jivanneva.
Patitecha asmin sharire.
Patitecha asmin sharire.
Mam upaishyasi agamishyasi.
Mam upaishyasi agamishyasi.
Okay. So here, tena sannyasa yogena yuktaha atma antahkaranam yasya. That is, your atma or antahkarana gets purified. Yuktaha sannyasa yogena yuktaha atma. Then such a person, sannyasa yoga yuktatma san. So one whose atma or antahkaranam is purified by the performance of karma yoga. Then vimuktaha karma bandhanaihi. So that man will get freed from all these bondages of karma. How? Jivanneva. Even when he is alive. Then patitecha asmin sharire. When the body falls, it is called videha mukti. Patitecha asmin sharire. Mam upaishyasi agamishyasi. Then you attain me, you come to me. So that is it. Mam upaishyasi, you will come to me. So which means we have learned that pure karma yoga is not going to give you moksha. But here he is saying karma yoga will, by doing karma yoga you will come to me. What is the difference? The difference is that you are a devotee. Yat karoshi yad ashnasi. Then again patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachasi. You are having this devotion. You are also adding that component of devotion. A pure karma yoga may not have that component of devotion. Devotion means upasana also. There is a Bhagavad upasana here. So in the pure karma yoga there is no Bhagavad upasana. You are just doing it, okay, dharma shastra, this is my dharma, I am doing like this. But here it is associated with this upasana, Bhagavad Bhakti. So because of this, then we are not talking about that sanchita karma, etc., etc. Because this Bhagavad Bhakti plus karma, this is what we have seen even earlier in this chapter. And also what is that Ishavasya Upanishad also. Ishavasya Upanishad, that 9th or which mantra is it? Say which avidyam cha yastadveda ubhayagam saha. That with the combination of this this karma upasana, that is what is called karma upasana samuchaya, we have seen there, isn't it? So because of that you are going to get a higher result. So that is the main point we have to see. Then next shloka, avatarika. Ragadveshavan starhi
Ragadveshavan starhi
Bhagavan yato bhaktan anugruhnati na itaran iti tanna. Okay, one small doubt, what is this doubt? Ragadveshavan tarhi Bhagavan, whatever you say, you call you Bhagavan, he is somebody who is having a partial attitude. That is, he is only helping his bhaktas, he is not helping others. So that is the thing. Ragadveshavan. One who is having, he is a favor, who is a nepotism or whatever you call, nepotism or what do you call, say partial behavior. So all these things, the correct word is not even nepotism. That is somebody who is having likes and dislikes. You like a particular group, you don't like a particular group. God cannot be like that. God cannot be a Ragadveshavan. God has to be equal to all. So that is the question here. Ragadveshavan tarhi Bhagavan yataha bhaktan anugrunhati. You are only favoring or you are only bestowing your favors on the bhaktas, devotees, and not others. Tat na, it is not so. So that is being told. Let us read this. Samoham sarvabhuteshu
Samoham sarvabhuteshu
na me dveshyosti na priyah
na me dveshyosti na priyah
ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya
ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya
mayite teshu chapyaham.
mayite teshu chapyaham.
So here, this is again a great statement that Ishvara is equal to all. Ishvara is equal to all. It is not as though he favors his devotees and then he does not favor other people who do not worship him. Say he will harm other people even if they are good people. It's not like that. So here, Samaha aham sarva bhuteshu. Aham sarva bhuteshu. For all the beings, Samaha. Samaha means equal. In what sense we will see in the next class, because I think only 1 minute is there. I will just read this line only. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. I am equal to all beings. Then name dveshyaha asti na priyaha. To me, na dveshyaha na priyaha asti. There is nobody who is an enemy, who is nor priyaha, one who is dear to me, nor who is disliked by me. Then ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya. Those who know me and then those who realize my nature, those who understand my nature and do this bhajanti. Bhajanti means dharma acharana. Those who do their dharma acharana here, dharma acharana. Mayi te, they are in me. And then teshu cha api aham. Mayi te teshu chapyaham. This is something similar to what we have seen earlier in an earlier mantra also. Nachaham teshu te mayi. So something like that. But then in a slightly different sense. Nachaham teshu te mayi, that was told in the context of in the context of explaining Maya. In the context of explaining Maya, the connection between the universe which is seen and the Supreme Brahman. So, in the context of that Vivartavada, in order to explain that Vivartavada that was there, it is a totally epistemological context there. But here we are not in that epistemological context, we are in a rather practical context. Practical in the sense, you are offering something, you are doing some worship, and then whether in what manner you are in him, in what manner he is also in you. So that is what is it? The Bhashyakara says, Mayite, that is, they are always having that Brahmakara Vritti. They are always thinking about me. They are in that Nididhyasana. And naturally, I reflect, I shine on their Antahkaranas. That Brahma, this reflection of that Supreme Consciousness on Antahkarana alone is called, what, that is the, our Sakshatkara, isn't it? So I become Sakshatkruta to those people who are in that Nididhyasana level. So that is the meaning which Anandagiri, this Madhusudana Saraswati is going to give. We will see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti